The world of darkness, an unfathomably dark place, a home for monsters. If you were to ask me, I would say it's not about the monsters or the darkness. No, this is a place to tell stories. Welcome all once again to my channel, where we explore solo gaming and storytelling in spoken form. Tonight, we will try to solo the V6 playtest with Mythic GM. Our protagonist will be Angel Caballero, a La Sombra ex-military agent turned diplomat to ease issues and frictions between the clan and the Ivory Tower. Let's begin with an expected scene. Angel is summoned to his sire's haven, one he knows well, the place he was embraced all those years ago. Even though he was freed from his custody in 2013, he still follows the command of Alexander Thorn. As the scene is set, Angel walks into the Alabaster Manor, hands behind his back. Since this is a solo session, I start the game with one drama. Thorn lifts his eyes from the pile of documents on his desk, brow softening to see it as an expected, familiar face and not another problem. "Don't stand there, son," Thorn opens. "Go get yourself a seat." Angel nods, managing to find comfort in the couch that is nearby. Thorn maintains his exhausted visage before placing a cap in his stylo and putting the paperwork aside. "You've heard the news, have you?" he asks, and with that question, we open with the first use of the Mythic GM engine. The question is rolled in the fate chart. Has Angel heard the news? Chances are likely, so we set that and roll. The dice tell us a standard no, and the narrative continues. "Can't say I have. I've had too much on my plate as of late," Angel responds, prompting Thorn to speak once again. But before that, we roll on the Mythic GM table for meanings and look at the words defiantly and large. This gives us a vague idea of what these news are through interpretation. We look into the meaning and conclude that Thorn proclaims as follows. Methuselah Rodrigo is claiming that the La Sombra Primogen has no real hold on the clan, as he was once part of the Sabbat. It's getting troublesome as the near totality of our clan comes from that past. Thid is demanding the Primogen to step down. A grimace can be seen on Angel's face. The last thing we need is infighting. We need to take action before it boils. This Methuselah, Thid, has he any weak spots to exploit so we might stop his claim? Thorn softly chuckles before getting up from his desk and approaching the couch next to Angel's. "There are a few possibilities. Tell me, what do you know of this Methuselah? Are you aware of his power and influence?" This question calls for a skill check. Angel must roll intelligence and knowledge at a challenging difficulty to find what he knows about this Methuselah. However, with a dice pool of 3, and 3 being the exact difficulty level, we found ourselves at a non-existent dice pool, an automatic failure. We gain 1 quickening for 1 total, and as the storyteller, we gain 1 drama for 2 total. With 2 drama, we can add a story trigger to spice the scene up. So I pay 2 drama and choose minor events. This specific minor event will be related tangentially to the main story. As a form of consequence, I decide it will be a difficulty 1 threat as a ghoul enters the room. One 200-year-old ghoul known as La Rañaga. His sharp, squalid features are clearly ready, hands clenched. "Sir Thorn, I come with a message from Lord Rodrigo. He demands an audience as soon as possible," he says. Thorn's brow becomes a clear relief of his stress once again. "What for? Tell me." Those 2 last words create a knot in La Rañaga's throat as he replies, "I'm afraid this message is your ears only. Your childer isn't to hear it." Thorn gets up from his seat with a defiant glimmer in his eyes. However, it is Angel who places a hand on his sire's shoulder and then directs himself to the ghoul. "I am the very blood of my sire. What he decides to listen, I keep to the grave. It will be easier this way. Tell us." For this roll, which would be difficulty 1, Angel builds a dice pool of 3. 2 for manipulation, 1 for persuasion. His bonus focus on negotiation does not apply here. Removing the 1 dice from difficulty, we have 2 dice for the pool, and we roll for a total of 4 and 5. No success, no painful failure, just plain failure. I forget that I could have added 1 extra dice by spending my 1 quickening. It is now too late. I fear that won't be possible, said Angel. This message must only be for Thorn, and him alone. La Reñaga insists, adamant on his demand. Thorn nods towards Angel, and without any further words, our protagonist leaves. This concludes Scene 1. Scene 2. As Angel walks through the hallways of the manor, his mind is stuck on the power of the Methuselah and how he may have to solve this case on his own. He exits the building and gets to his car, a red Dacia Logan. After a few minutes of aimlessly driving, he finds a target to check on, the Primogen. Perhaps he has something to say. Meanwhile, we ask the fate chart if we get a call from Thorn while driving. This is also likely. We roll and get a plain yes. As our vampire drives across the less crowded roads, Eye of the Storm by Five Finger Death Punch plays his ringtone. He picks it up on speaker. Angel, my servant said you left. Where are you? The voice speaks across the phone, distorted and through static. I'm en route to the Primogen. I suspect he may have something to say about the case. Any advice? Angel responds as he accelerates. Since I am unsure what Thorn may say in this case, I resort to the meaning table of the Mythic PDF and roll. The words that come out are lure and battle. This one is going to be a bit of a harder nut to crack. Make him think the Methuselah wants physical combat. That should open him up a bit for questions, as fear always does. Thorn explains. Angel closes the call with a thank you and accelerates towards Elysium. Scene 3. It is not hard to gain audience with the Primogen as part of the clan. Coming through the gates of Elysium, Angel enters the place, calling to the whip for a meeting. In less than a few minutes, he is able to walk in the Primogen's office. Primogen Dario. Angel opens, not waiting for permission to address him. I believe you have heard the news. He jumps straight to the point, in a suffocating pace, not to let Dario find an opening. The Methuselah is defying your claim to power. We must act before he decides to defy you through physical combat. The action is clear. Angel is trying to use persuasion plus manipulation against the Primogen to convince him this must be resolved and fast. Dario's difficulty to be convinced feels like a 3, which is the same level of dice pool Angel has for this. As such, I decide to spend 1 quickening for a total of 0, and summon the advantage of Thorn's advice to gain 2 extra dice. Time to roll 2d10. Wish me luck. A 3 and a 4. Not a success, not a painful cost, but a failure nonetheless. This isn't the Sabbath anymore, young man. We do not practice monomancy any longer. Care to explain what you're trying to achieve here? Dario's words make Angel sigh, a frustrating but expected outcome. You must stop the claims before they get out of hand, Primogen, Angel explains, as Dario plunges a plume tip into an inkwell. It is already out of hand. Even you have heard the news. Now tell me, Angel, how am I supposed to solve this? He's a Methuselah with 900 years of backup. I'm certainly not. Angel tilts his head, trying to find a way through this issue. How could we legitimize your claim? There has to be something you can do to prove yourself. Dario lifts his sight from the papers, frowning in focus. Now that you mention it, we get help from the Mythic GM book and we roll for the meaning. Deny depletion. Using these two descriptors, we can find a way to explain how could Dario make a legitimate claim at the eyes of the Methuselah. I accepted the charge of Primogen under the 25-year ban of our clan from using Oblivion. If I make it possible to lift that ban, likely Rodrigo will recognize me as Primogen, and this feud will be over. Okay, so what do we need for that? Angel asks, leaning forward in a clear show of interest. We need one of us to showcase or prove that Oblivion is a helpful discipline to the Camarilla. Solve a problem, earn a favor, impress the prince. Dario explains, and we roll on a fate chart with the following question. Is Dario aware of a problem that could be solved through Oblivion so Angel can work on it? Chances are 50-50, so we roll and get a plain yes. Time for one more meaning table roll, and additionally a location meaning for a place to carry out the issue. The meaning roll gives us transform official, and the location gives us intense and horrible. Quite a combination. My interpretation comes as follows. Somewhere in the alleys of the outskirts, a policeman has been turned into a slasher by one of the passing Simisha, and he's making a strange nest of corpses. If we take care of this breach, we may be able to gain enough of a good rapport to permit the use of Oblivion within the city. Are you up for this, Angel? Angel nods. It should be feasible. With Dario's blessing, Angel leaves and goes to find the slasher. Scene 4. First things first. Angel will try to find the ghoul enraged creature through social means. He asks around, and for this we roll Charisma plus Investigation. The difficulty should be 1 for this task, leaving us with another dice pool of 2d20. We roll this action, and 4 and 5. We collect yet another failure, facing consequences. We do not find the creature, it finds us. Angel looks deep into the alleyways and narrows of the buildings near the outskirts, and aware of the ambush this creature has prepared for him. As a surprise round, Angel loses 2 dice to defend himself. He will want to use Dexterity plus Athletics, meaning dodge. If he succeeds, he can roll away. If not, it's going to look gnarly. His full dodge is 5 dice, and the creature is a tier 2 enemy. Added the other 2 dice for the surprise round, we roll a single d10 to dodge. Our result is, as promised, gnarly, at 2. The slasher not only manages to deal damage, it also uses brutal attack to inflict an extra 2 damage against Angel. 4 damage, mitigated by his generation modifier, 3 vitae lost. Already a bad start. Angel's turn. He will summon the grasping shadows, paying 2 vitae before moving away. Our roll is Intelligence 2 plus Oblivion 3 versus the enemy tier 2. We roll our pool of 3d10. 2 10s, granting us 2 quickening and a 2. Slash against the health condition, can't move, and has a penalty on actions. Angel steps away from the thing and repositions to prepare. The creature tries to free itself, and a roll is required. Pool of 4, now 3 with the added health penalty. It breaks free, but this buys enough time for Angel to gain another turn, using his action to activate Shadow Tools for another vitae, leaving his at 7 vitae boxes. Back to the slasher. Finally it can move, lunging towards Angel once again. Defense roll at difficulty 2. We choose parry with dexterity and fighting for a final 5d10. We gain a 3rd point of quickening, and because we have 2 extra hits on the roll, our next attack against it will be granted another die. Angel deftly deflects the pounce and uses the beast's momentum against itself. He attacks with his shadow sword and adds the parry bonus and 1 point of quickening is spent for 2 extra dice. We have a total of 9d10 versus difficulty 2, making it a 7 dice pool. A single success, but a success nonetheless. The creature takes 3 damage, remaining at 6. It gets to go again now. We will repeat the same course of action. Parry, defense for 7d10, adding our penultimate quickening against difficulty 2, 6d10 total. A success, and we get to keep 2 quickening, all around useful. Angel gets the offensive once again, no parry bonus, but we add a quickening boost, 6d10, let's roll. 2 10s and a total of 4 hits, getting us up to 4 quickening, and we get to deal an amazing total of 6 damage, which is the remaining health that the Slacha had, as it recovers from its lunge and tries to rush against Angel, which allows him to let the Shadow Blade come through the creature's mouth, dividing its jaw and skull and carving across the neck and shoulders. Angel comes out victorious with 7 vitae remaining. He looks down at the officer, transformed into a malformed pile of guts and vicissitude, and grabs his phone. It's done, he merely speaks before walking away. This concludes our demo session for Claim of Oblivion, a Vampire the Masquerade 6th edition solo roleplay. Overall, a pretty solvable system, with a lot of good mechanics and a promising flow of play. I am aware I likely missed a few rules, but overall I feel this is a great evolution of the game. If you have any interesting or constructive thoughts, please leave them at the comment section. However, that will be all for tonight. Thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night.